Smokes. Good morning, folks. You guys are early. Hold on one second. You guys caught me off guard a little bit. All right. Good morning, Emmett. Emmett's the first one. 2 out of 3. Good morning, Chen. Good morning, Lex. Let's see, Lex. Chen. Good morning, Cadence. Good morning, Mallory. Mallory, you got your password all squared away? Good morning, Dia. I am just putting together some notes. And I'll be right with you. Okay, so we have 7th grade. All right, we're all set. So real quick, if you guys are here early, if you could just in the chat box maybe, if you could just describe to me how you think your online learning experience is going so far. Good morning, Alara. So again, just sort of, I'm really interested in folks and how their experiences with the remote learning. And I've been thinking a lot about maybe changing some things up next week, but I just want to know if you can just give me a brief little, some feedback, just a little bit about how your remote learning experience is going so far. That would be great. Chen, can you explain a little bit why? Good morning, Abby. And Alara, thank you for the feedback. Could you give me some details, like maybe some specifics? Cadence, I appreciate that feedback, but again, it's just a little bit more details would help me out because I'm trying to figure out. Good morning, Everett. Emmett, what are some of the things that make it easy? And likewise, what are some of the things that make it difficult? Good morning, Cameron. So for those of you who just joined us, maybe just give me some feedback on the online learning. Good morning, Somerset. Good morning, Russell. For those people have been showing up early this morning, so for those of you who showed up early, it's good morning, Ollie. I'm just asking for feedback on the remote learning, what your experience has been like, and you'll see that there's been some good morning, Ella. Good morning, Sadie. I love the early birds. This is good stuff. Okay, so Chen, good morning, Lena. Chen is saying that you have to click on a lot of stuff to figure out what you need. Navigating the website. Russell, is the humanities part of the website confusing? Like, what part of it is confusing? Cadence says that it's hard to stay out. Yeah, you're not kidding, Cadence. I'm sitting here, I got a pile of things to do, and I get distracted pretty easily. Motivation to do work. Yeah, I want to just speak to Alara, and then Emmett talked about the work piling on and cadence. Man, that happens to me. I have a whole list of things I have to do. Like I'm supposed to have the busiest morning ever this morning, and I know that I just get distracted by the littlest things, and then I'll go higgledy piggledy looking on the internet for stuff, and it just drives me nuts. It's been okay. I'm having a hard time remembering the Google Meet times. Okay, good morning, Keegan. Good morning, Sammy. Where's Keegan? Keegan is here. Sammy Tucker is here. And for those of you who are just joining, I'm just asking for some feedback, and always your feedback is just so important to me. It's hard for me finding all the things that I need. Like before, I could check Google Classroom, and it would all be there. Okay, good morning, Owen. Okay. Yeah, so Lex is talking about Google Classroom, and Lex, I've tried to limit my use of Google Classroom just because I'm worried that kids are going to get so many notifications and so many different things. So I've just really tried to simplify that. But this feedback is good. If anybody can tell me, good morning, Nico. If anybody can tell me what is working for you, what work or what class is it the easiest to find stuff, and is it the most organized? So if you guys can give me examples of like what's really working for you, that would be great. Okay, so I have one feedback, daily emails. Okay, daily emails. Good morning, Cooper. So again, if you're just joining us, daily emails. Okay. All right. That's good stuff. That's good feedback. The point system in French. And I assume, Alara, that means that for everything you do, you get points. Is that correct? This is really good feedback. I wish we were in person so that I could ask you more questions. Okay. Is the certificate, do you think the certificate system is working? So again, do you think the certificate system is working for when you do something in my class, you get a certificate for that? Can you give me some feedback on that? Okay, so I'm just going to type in that question. Okay. So I have a couple yeses. I have one fair to Midland. So again, the question, for those of you who just arrived, we had a bunch of early birds, which is always good. And those folks, I was asking for feedback about what's working. Okay, good morning, Rowan. And the question is the certificate system working for you? Man, Rowan Kurtling writes, good morning, Mr. Taylor. That is so official. Thank you. That's very nice. Good morning, Elka. Okay, so if you do have feedback on any of that stuff, just let me know. I always appreciate your feedback, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to create a learning system online for at least the next, the remaining part of the school year. So Cadence has a good point. It's hard to know what certificates there are to complete. Cadence, if you, in the first email of the week, I send you the slideshow, or you can also go to the website, and there's a slideshow on the top of the website that shows you what you can earn. This week, you can earn your annotated bibliography certificate, and you can also get a certificate for the second, your rough draft of your Vermont History Day slideshow. So we're going to get going here. Good morning, Delilah. And if you folks, if there's somebody who would take notes, that would be awesome. This morning, I'm just going to kind of run through the expectations again. And then we're going to play a quick game of Kahoot. And the Kahoot is going to be a review, but it's also going to have I have some geography in there from Montpelier. Okay. So if I could get somebody to take notes, that would be awesome. And then we'll get going. Okay. Thanks, Lena. Awesome. Okay, so good morning, everybody. Today is April 29th. It's Wednesday. It's the second to last day in April. This Friday is obviously May 1st. And apparently, I was looking at the long-term weather forecast. Apparently, this Sunday is supposed to be really nice, like 65 degrees. Yesterday was awesome. It's staying light out much longer, so you can actually do stuff after dinner, which I'm excited about. And so things are going good in that way. Couple things. Number one is, again, I've told you this all week, is I'm really trying to simplify things in terms of humanities. So really, you're just working on your Vermont History Day slideshow, and that History Day slideshow, if you could have that to me by Monday or Tuesday of next week, that would be awesome. Monday, when we come back from the weekend, we're going to kind of be laid back. We're just going to say, hey, let's finish up our Vermont History Day. And then once we finish up the Vermont History Day, we're going to go back to the Odyssey. We're going to focus on the Odyssey next week. And then I'm trying to figure out how we can be working on some independent projects where you can be engaged in something you're interested in for the remaining part of the school year. Good morning, Avery, and good morning, Zoe, if I didn't just say that. So really just trying to focus on finishing up the Vermont History Day slideshow, and then moving back into the Odyssey, and then independent projects for the remaining part of the year. One thing I do want to say too is that we had again, I've mentioned this a couple times, but we've had some students who are participating in the virtual Vermont History Day, and those folks have already submitted their work, and so they've completed what they need to complete. And so if you're part of that team, part of those teams who submitted your work to the virtual Vermont History Day, you're all set. You can be spending this week either doing some creative writing. In the email that I sent to you, there's some great writing opportunities that you may want to check out. You could also be working on your PLPs, or you could just be wrapping up different things for humanities, reading, etc. So again, if you finish your slideshow, and remember, it's a challenge by choice, which means that when you go into the Vermont History Day slideshow that I've linked, you'll see that there are 3 levels you can do a novice, intermediate, or expert level. You need to share. You make a copy of the presentation that you're going to do, and then you share that with me so I have evidence that you're completing the Vermont History Day slideshow. I also want to thank Emmett Jarvis, who showed me that in the expert slideshow there was a couple mistakes. I've gone through and fixed those, so they should be clear and it should be fairly well organized. Also, thank you to Chen Chen. She had a question about the slideshow. She sent me a nice email yesterday, and I tried to answer that as effectively as I could. So Dia Kulkarni has a question. Is it okay if the slides are not in order? I suppose you could change the order. I would like you to start out with an explanation of the issue or the person or whatever barrier you're talking about. So your introduction needs to explain what that barrier is. And then the last slide should talk about the significance of that barrier being broken. But in between those, I assume that you can vary the order. It just needs to be understandable to the viewer. And since the viewer is me, that would be great. Good morning, Aiden Bushy. How you doing, bud? So in answer to your question, Dia, the middle part you can arrange to make the most sense, but you should have an introduction, and you should have the significance should be at the end of the slideshow. Can you just give me a thumbs up or a yes if that makes sense? So again, just in general, working on that Vermont History Day slideshow, a couple things. That's fine, Dia. That's good. A couple things today. After we're going to play a game in about a minute or two, and after we play that game, yep, you're good, Dia. After we play that game at 9:20, we're going to have a Google Meet for 7th graders, and we're just going to talk about the the Vermont History Day slideshow. So again, once we finish the live stream, we're going to have a Google Meet, and the Google Meet is just for 7th graders, and it's about any questions you have about the Vermont History Day slideshow. Also at 11:30, we have our Dynamix 802 social. It's just a quick Google Meet, and if there's no agenda, you just want to show up and talk to people, that's fine. So Aiden Bushy, you have a question about how many slides are required. If you check your email this morning, you'll see that there's a little presentation and a video, and you watch the video and look at the presentation, and it'll give you a choice of what level you want to choose for your presentation. Okay, I think that's it. Working on your Vermont History Day slideshow, and then you want to 7th graders at 9:20. Avery, there's going to be a Google Meet, and whenever we have a Google Meet, it's always the same code. Okay, it's always the same code. Mia Reynolds has a question. Do we need to use the novice, intermediate, expert? I mean, that's just a graphic organizer for you. If you want to do your own thing, you can, but you should make sure that you have all the relevant information in the slideshow. Okay. So again, those are models for you. You can choose to create your own slideshow, but you need to make sure that you have the appropriate information in there. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? Okay. If you do not have other questions, what I'd like you to do is we are going to transition over to we're going to transition to a Google Meet, and we're going to play a Kahoot game. Okay. So if you want to play a Kahoot game, it's going to be a mix of review, and I have some geography questions about Montpelier. If you want to do that, it'll be a short little Kahoot game. You need to go to Dynamix 802 Meet, and I will see you there in about 1 minute, and we'll play a quick game of Kahoot just to review. Okay. So again, thank you everybody for coming to the live streams. I really appreciate it when I see folks are participating. Keeps my have to play. No, Cameron, you don't, but there may be some information in there that will help you out understanding deadlines and just some expectations. But you don't have to, but it'd be nice to have everybody over there if you want. Okay, so thank you, everybody. We're going to move over to the Dynamix 802 Google Meet, and we're going to play a game. All right, I'll see you over there, folks. Thank you very much, and hope everybody has a great day. Hey, Finn. Hey, Everett. Good morning. So I'm going to share my screen. Good morning. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Good morning. Good morning. Here we go. Okay. So hopefully you can see this. We're going to play classic. Okay, we're just going to wait a little bit. We'll probably wait 2 more minutes.